Hello everyone, this is Tania Davies here, the Success Low Coach, speaker, trainer and therapist and owner and director of the Mindful Impact Wellness Hub. Today I have the lovely Jo-anne Cain here with me. Hello Jo-anne.
Hi, lovely to be here.
Thank you for joining me today. Jo-anne's actually the wonderful face behind Soul Essence Therapy and Life Coaching. Jo-anne, can you give everyone that's listening today a bit of an idea of who you are, what your business is about and the type of clients that come and see you?
Wow.
I know it's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, how am I? Goodness me, I'm still working that out myself. um, I'm basically a therapist and a healer when you nut it right down. I mean, I've got social work qualifications. I'm a master practitioner of NLP and got those qualifications. I'm clinical hypnotherapist, almost finished my diploma in that, and an energy healer. So I use Reiki and aura healing.
Yeah, you are a woman of many means, aren't you?
Absolutely. So I do a lot of one-on-one work and I also do workshops. So I teach Reiki and I've got a fascination with energy and manifesting, whether that's manifesting healing or what we want in our life. So I do workshops with manifesting and vision boards, working with crystals.
Yep.
And I've just started doing wellness day, bigger workshops. So, yeah.
And so what kind of people come and visit you?
Oh, goodness. You know, when you start a business and they tell you to have your ideal client.
So you haven't worked out your avatar yet? They just keep coming?
I kind of have, but not everybody fits that. So most of my clients, probably 80% are women.
Yeah.
With experiencing anxiety, depression, grief and loss, or some sort of emotional issue that's then impacting on their life in a negative way.
Have you actually found, Jo, that the COVID situation that we're going through, has that impacted your business quite a bit in terms of more people coming to see you now?
No, it's less.
Oh wow, really?
My belief is they go into overwhelm, and when they need people like you and I most, they go into fight, flight or freeze, and the phone stops ringing, which is kind of interesting, which we will chat about later because that gives me then time to slow down. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So mostly that's the people I work with. Often with a bit of a spiritual aspect to it because I'm very interested in the quantum and the spiritual side of things.
Yes. Well, that's definitely one of the places that you and I connect on.
Exactly. Yeah. And then despite my airy-fairy feminine branding with dragonflies and pink and my fluffy room with soft blankets and whatever.
Which you're allowed to totally own, by the way.
I love it. But
your brand, your business.
Absolutely. But I get these big burly biker type guys coming in wanting me to help them with depression. And I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm not going to try. So, but I guess if you nut it down, it's around emotional issues and who hasn't got some form of emotional issue. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I work with stay-at-home mums, I work with stay-at-home dads, and I work with everyone in between. And you know what? There's not one person that's come through my door that couldn't say that they're perfect. So
exactly. Yeah.
So let's have the reason I've got you on today. You and I have known each other for quite a while now, and we've been through our emotional ups and downs together and all the trainings that we've done all over our time. But I'm really interested to share your story in terms of when the universe has either slowed you down or you've actually consciously decided to slow down yourself, and what learnings you actually had that came out of that for you.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know that I've ever consciously slowed down.
You'd be the first person that I'd interviewed so far that had.
No, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you there, love. I'm very good at ignoring the universe telling me to slow down and go, no, I know better.
Yeah.
Until it slams me and says you will slow down.
Yeah.
A couple of times, gosh, it'd be 5 or 6 years ago, I became very sick. I was working in a very difficult, toxic job and basically had reached burnout. But instead of taking some time off and looking after me, this is something we'll chat about later, is that fear of I'd have to work because I need the money because it's just me and I've got bills to pay, getting caught up in that, kept going until I ended up off work for a month at a time and in hospital. So that was number one. Number two is COVID.
Yep. So how have you generally coped with the whole COVID thing?
If it wasn't for JobKeeper, I wouldn't have.
Yep.
How have I coped?
And by the way, there are so many small business owners that are very successful business owners that have had a heck of a time through COVID, and thank you for the job keeper side of things.
Yes, absolutely. Someone made a comment the other day about my business, which I took to heart a little bit, which was interesting, around being financially successful and was it really a business, etc., etc. And I went and mentioned it to my darling 27-year-old son, and he looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" He said, "You literally went full time 2 months before COVID and you're still here. Does that not make you successful?" So,
and here's the thing, everybody that's listening, everybody's success is different.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to somebody else the other day that I was working with that had seriously bad depression. They were doing depression big time. And I said to them, look, this is not a curse for life, but right now your level of success is getting out of bed and having a shower. Yes. Tomorrow we'll up that. Yeah. Tomorrow you may just slightly roll out of bed a bit earlier and have a shower. But everybody's level of success is different. We are not necessarily talking about, $1 million turnover. So it's a spectrum, right? And that's why I'm talking to the people I'm talking to, because I would like everybody to understand that success very clearly is a spectrum. Yes. And nobody's success is going to be the same as the next person's. Yes. Yeah. So what you're talking about is exactly what I want people to hear.
Yeah. So I forget was it how did I cope with, how am I coping with
what was your lessons through it?
The lessons were let go of control. Let go of trying to control what's happening outside and just focus on me and what I can do. Yep. I did get some advice to work on my business rather than in my business. So I did some more training and when we had lockdowns, I did lots of that kind of stuff. Look, it's just given me lots of opportunities to heal. Yeah. And a lot of that is fear-based stuff around that financial survival, which is very much a 21st century thing that we've all got.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's going to be a lot of business owners in particular, small business owners that are going to be listening to this that are going to absolutely be on the same page as you in that regard. Yeah. The financial fear is a very real fear for a lot of people. It's the one big reason I think a lot of people will not slow down. Yes, there's an ego side of things as well.
Absolutely.
That fear of missing out on whatever it is. Yes. Keeping up with the Joneses is one of the big things, especially out of COVID, that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it taught me what's important. And it did teach me that. So, I've written down here to talk about later is values. Yeah. What's important. And you and I have done values levels in our NLP training, and that keeping up with the Joneses stuff to me, and that wanting the 6-figure income in that values level 5 area is so not me, and I push back against that a lot.
For those of you out there that have no idea what the values levels are about, I suggest you go and Google values levels with NLP, because it's a fascinating study of how the mentality of the individual person and their values levels and how that fits into society as a whole and their values levels as they change, and how you can feel very confused and very unwelcome in your own space, in your own mental space, amongst a group of people who you've always seemed to fit in with, because you're actually evolving as a human and you're changing your values levels, and that can bring on that level of confusion.
Which it did for me, because when COVID hit and we all went into lockdown, and it was all about, you can still grow your business and shift to Zoom and you can still make this much money, and I'm going, that doesn't feel right. And then I started questioning me, which was interesting, what's wrong with me, because I'm not wanting to do all of this stuff. I'd rather slow down. Yeah. And then,
which is a natural instinct to slow down and reassess. Yes.
Yeah. And then, values, I'm not sure how it came back across my awareness again. Yeah. But when I looked at that and I went, I get it. I'm linking in with lots of values level 5 people, and that's not me at the moment. So I haven't found my tribe.
Yeah, and then so I had values level 5 is very much about being in business, being an entrepreneur, making money, that kind of cycle. And every values level is warranted, but sometimes the entrepreneur in us can challenge other areas, especially when we've all been told we need to slow down. And our physical, mental, and emotional states are also challenging us to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it was questioning what's wrong with me, when in actual fact there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just wasn't, functioning at in that level at that time.
So Jo-anne, out of curiosity, what do you actually then think is the key learning that the business professionals need to understand when it comes to wanting a more balanced, slower life and still achieving success?
I think that's interesting because I'm not sure that a lot of CEOs want that slower life. So I question that. I've spoken to employers about their staff and staff wellbeing and staff mental health, and question is that their responsibility? And they've gone, well, no. And you know, well, if you've got happy staff, what have you got? Oh, we've got happy customers. Oh, yeah. And if you've got happy customers, what have you got? Well, they're spending money. And if your customers are spending money, what have you got? Well, we've got profits. So is your staff wellbeing your responsibility?
Absolutely.
That's my number one message. But also bearing in mind that those CEOs or whoever's in charge of the company has got possibly got shareholders or people backing financially who are putting pressure on them as well. So I guess it's understanding where everybody's coming from and what everybody's needs are, which is a big call when you're in that position.
Absolutely. But that
as well as looking after yourself.
Ability to be able to change your perspectives, though. So let's just clear up for a second. The fact that I'm telling people, look, leadership needs to slow down. We're not necessarily talking about making less money, bringing in less business. In fact, we're talking the opposite, because there is so much evidence out there that tells us that when we slow down, we're actually going to produce more. Exactly. Yet we are so scared that we distract ourselves constantly, telling ourselves all the things we have to do, should do, must do. And we try to fit into what society expects as a leader needs to be to everyone, that we're dragging people along who desperately are wanting to slow down themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's about time we all had a bit of a reality check. But I'm a bit curious to know, what's the best advice you've ever received from somebody about actually slowing down?
You know, when you gave me this question to ponder, the best I could come up with was Facebook, because I've never had anyone in my world tell me to slow down.
Okay. So listen, look in the camera and listen right now. You have permission to slow down.
I do. I give myself that all the time. I guess mum and dad, never business people, always worked for other people, but lived a simple life.
Yep.
But we never went without. So I guess indirectly they taught me how that simple life is full of joy. So that would be number one. They didn't actually ever come out and give me advice, but by living that, I think, and these are Facebook ones, I'm sorry, but they resonated with me. Doing nothing isn't lazy. Doing nothing isn't doing nothing. Doing nothing is resting and healing. It's super important. Then I read one the other day that says, you humble as you age, you realise how much time you've wasted on nonsense. And I really liked that. I really liked that. It's about growing into your values and knowing what's important. And then another one about life will pull you this way and that, and saying this is important and that's important, and dragging you, media and social media and your friends and your family, and everyone's going, this is important, that's important. And it's about going, stop. And it does actually say, put your hand on your heart and go, no, this is important. And look in here, what is actually important, and learning to say no, learning to have boundaries and not feeling bad about that.
Absolutely. Oh, I love my boundaries, and those that know me well will know I'm pretty strict on my boundaries, especially with my children. You know, and it's funny, I just want to reflect back on something you said there before about getting back to what's real for us. And I remember during the COVID times, I actually went, random comment here, I went to go and pick up some chickens to, we've got a large chicken coop. I went to go and get new chickens. And the lady that was on the phone, she said to me, it's so lucky you called today because all of our chickens are already sold out. And I said, what? That's really unusual. I've bought many chickens off you before. And she goes, COVID has brought people back to basics. All of the, the garden shops, etc., all sold out of seedlings for vegetable gardens, and the chickens were going. And it just really showed me that people are going back to self-sustainability. Going back to what actually makes them feel good, and knowing that you can plant a garden and feed yourself in the future brings hope. And so that's what people were really looking forward to. It was a fascinating case study, still is.
Yeah.
Still is at the moment. It's ongoing for us here. But I also want to know, look, what personal tools and strategies do you actually use, like on a daily basis, to keep you grounded and slow you down?
Oh, goodness gracious. How long you got?
Let's narrow that down to, say, your top 3.
Okay. Look, I'm a pretty good manifester. I'm pretty good at manifesting blockages. So the first one is unintentional, but all I have to do is wake up in the morning and think, oh, gosh, I'm tired today. It'd be so nice to have a day off. And literally within 5 minutes, my phone will ring and my clients will start cancelling. So I have to be really careful about that.
Careful what you wish for.
Absolutely, because I can manifest that really easily.
So technically you did do it consciously.
Yeah. Yes. My unconscious did it consciously. Yeah. The other thing is to find, so for me, I don't know that I actually work anymore. Yes, I'm earning an income. Yeah. I had a client not much older than me, a female client, who had retired.
Yeah.
And that caused me to reflect a little bit on, oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to retire. And then I went, hang on a minute. I'm going to think of myself as retired, doing what I love that's bringing some money in.
What a great
so it's shifting that way of thinking. But look, I also use meditation, the skills we've got through, regression techniques and that I use on myself, or reach out to someone. Yoga, getting out in my garden. Yeah, there's a couple of homeopathic remedies.
And a lot of stuff that doesn't cost money.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a toolkit that I share with clients too that, I think that's just really helpful. It gives you some form of control when you know you've got things that you can help yourself with.
Yeah. So knowing you've got all those tools, and you've got a massive bucket of tools, just everyone head to her website and you'll check out the qualifications as long as her arm. We're all human. What is still your biggest challenge when it comes to slowing down?
Given that I'm on my own and financially and divorced in my mid-40s, so I know there's a cohort of women out there that have been through that, and starting again financially in your 40s as a woman, when look, and I would make my choices over again in a heartbeat. It is what it is. My ex-husband was a fly-in, fly-out worker for a long time, so my priority was the family. So my career and my super wasn't a priority, and that was my choice. But starting again on my own financially, just over, that's about 12 or 13 years ago now. So having the mortgage still and the one income, and then deciding it was a good idea to quit a well-paying job and start a business just prior to COVID.
The world needs you doing what you're doing.
It does. Look, I would make the same choices again, but my biggest hurdle for me is still a little bit of fear around paying the bills. Where's the money going to come from? That financial security, and knowing there's not another person in the house I can fall back on.
And there's people out there that you can work with and coach with to be able to do that, to overcome that. And I do it. There's so many people out there that need that love when it comes to that financial security and that fear of being without. And it's not just money. It is actually, it infiltrates all areas when we feel as though that there's a lack of abundance in some space, whether it be a lack of health, a lack of finances. There's so many lack that we get, and let's get down to it. It's a fear of lack.
Exactly.
Wherever that lands. And that can
even survival.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've even seen very, very successful businesswomen sitting in my office explaining to me how they're not enough when they are lawyers, when they are the typical societal expectations of being enough. And that imposter syndrome kicks in pretty hard. So out of curiosity, I'd love your insight. What do you think? We were speaking before about CEOs and business leaders, even at management level too. What do you think conscious leaders bring to a workplace?
Connection and understanding. So when as an employee you feel connected and heard and understood, I think you're going to have a better experience as an employee, and you're going to be more productive. That authoritarian approach of do as I say, not as I do, and I haven't got time to listen to you, and your grievances are your problem, doesn't lead to good productivity. So I actually spoke to a man the other day. I was at the market selling crystals, and he came in and saw my brochure and, oh, NLP. He said, I'm a manager, and to be honest, I was so blown away I didn't even find out what sort of business, but he's a manager, and he's brought in an NLP master practitioner to work with his management team. And she is working individually on each one of those people using regression techniques and timeline therapy. And I just stood there blown away thinking, we need more managers like you who understand that your employees are a whole package.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that don't know, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Go and Google it. It's amazing. It will change your world. Both of us are master practitioners in NLP, and I have to say I don't do NLP sessions with people, but once you learn NLP, you cannot unlearn NLP because it will infiltrate every area of your life.
Yeah.
So, look, a final question for those people that do want to come and see you for, and I have to say Jo-anne is incredibly intuitive. She won't say this herself, but she's incredibly intuitive. She's highly, deeply connected. It's in terms of spirituality. So if you are drawn to work with Jo-anne in any way, Jo-anne, what kind of services do you offer? Do you actually offer specific counselling, social work services, or is it a holistic package that you offer people?
First up, I chat with people for 45 minutes free, and I have a trouble telling the time, so often that extends beyond 45 minutes.
We won't tell the people who are listening today. Don't take advantage of Jo-anne, please.
But I'm a softie, and if you need to talk, I'm there to listen. Look, I've got a range of things. So a Reiki and aura healing session is energy healing. It's deeply relaxing, gentle relaxation, realign energy.
Everyone.
Absolutely. If you want to slow down for an hour, it's great. I then do hypnotherapy. So that's a series of sessions.
Yes.
Depending on what issue you want to address. My favourite is the NLP personal breakthrough still. But I must say that if you do it with me, you also will get hypnotherapy or maybe an ultimate consciousness or a Reiki or whatever I pull in because I design it around you.
Yeah. I don't think you can do a breakthrough with somebody and not use hypnosis in some form, whether it be conversational hypnosis or any kind of hypnosis. You'll get a way better bang for buck for the person in terms of their outcome when everything's done in a trance state. So you'll hear me on that one. That's my little tidbit. So I bring in other modalities as needed. That's like your own personal retreat with me one-on-one to deal with whatever issue. And then ultimate consciousness, which is the new one I'm doing. So all of the other modalities I use, we go within, looking for the root cause of the problem. Ultimate conscious, we go out there. We're going out into other realms, other time zones, other realities. It's really, really amazing. That's a really spiritual experience. Rather than going within, we're going out and connecting to an energy that's transcended whatever the problem is that we want to transcend. Or the other option is meeting with your ultimate consciousness, which is like your higher self. So I certainly find that when I work in the spiritual or transpersonal space, and I do a lot of that work with people, especially business professionals that have got to a point where they say, I'm lost, I'm stuck, why am I getting up in the morning? Why am I doing this? There's lots of whys coming out. That naturally starts towards the conversation about purpose and perspective, much, much bigger perspective. And, I'm a highly spiritual person, but I grew up as an atheist. How did I end up here? So you can be a successful business person and you can absolutely bring your spirituality into your workspace.
Absolutely. And I can do the opposite. If someone comes to me and in the initial chat, I can tell that they are not really drawn to the spiritual aspect of my work, I can still work with them. Absolutely. Because that just gets put to the side a little bit. So, I work with people in a way that they need and what works best for them.
What a great way to summarise what you do. So
absolutely. And there's my workshops as well. So that's another way I can work with people that aren't ready to do the one-to-one.
workshops listed on your website under Soul Essence?
That's a work in progress. So my web designer keeps at me for a list of dates for the rest of the year. And it was my job to do today. And now with what's happening out in the world, I've gone, I'm actually just going to hold off setting any dates just yet. So, but if you're interested in any of my workshops,
events can get challenging now.
They can. So I don't want to, I've been guided to just step back from that a little bit. But if anyone's interested in workshops, get
so
in
what
touch.
I'm going to do, Jo-anne, is I'm going to put all of your social media handles in the comments, etc. And I really wanted to thank you for coming on today, because I think you really brought a unique perspective for people, especially about the struggles you've been through. And where you're going to, you know, like I said, success for everybody is a spectrum. So please stop the comparisonitis that keeps occurring, everyone. And, you know, thank you, Jo-anne, for just being so honest. And if anybody would like to actually reach out and work specifically with Jo-anne, please check out all the details that I'll be placing in the description. And until next time, Jo-anne, thank you very much.
Thank you.